Alright, peace, y'all. Truth and love. Christel Laura here with another channel message. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to take my time with this, but this is very important. This is something that hit me very hard. First off, before I go to the channel message, I have a channel wisdom that came through to me. That's what I want to express first. Laziness. Some of you are battling hardcore with laziness. And I would invite you to not be so hard on yourself, because in my opinion, which I believe to be a truth, is that laziness is nothing more than being comfortable in your fears. And see, when people say, "Oh, you're just lazy," it's immediately I want to say the word stigma. Whereas, okay, well, that's what people will label you as, and now you're a piece of shit. Now you are a worthless lump of nothing. Immediately, I mean, in my mind, that's where I would take it when I was called lazy, or when people thought of me as lazy. But when you break it down and it gets deeper, being comfortable in your fears, that's a hardcore trauma response, and that just needs to be evaluated. But if you don't know if you don't know that that's a trauma response, you won't know how to navigate that. You won't know how to explore that. Okay, so if ever you considered yourself to be lazy, or if ever anybody considered you to be lazy, don't be down on yourself about that. You just find a way to navigate and explore that so that you can break out of it. I also the word laziness is, in my opinion, the way I see it, it's nothing more than a gateway drug to being a sloth. Sloth, one of the 7 deadly sins, right? Where you just literally do nothing all day, every day. Nothing all day, every day. And yeah, many of us can get caught up in moments of being sloth, and some of us have had lifestyles of it. And so being okay with laziness is being okay with the fact that laziness can bring you to a place of being a sloth. And so if you don't want it to go there, the best way to go about the so-called laziness or procrastination is just really dealing with your fears. What are you truly willing to what are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? The things that you are not willing to do is the things you should say, like, why am I not willing to exercise and jog like I used to? Why am I not willing to eat healthier? Why am I not, just ask yourself that question and pray on it. Okay, so that's that. Also, I have excuses. Okay, we're gonna go with excuses, because I know for myself that was hard to admit to. I always had an excuse for why I couldn't do something. Heavy victim mentality type shit, right? I always had an excuse as to why things in my life didn't go the way I wanted it to go, and why I couldn't reach where I felt like I already should have been, and where everybody else thought I was gonna be. When I think about excuses, I think that they're nothing more than reasons that got played out. So for an example, Say you're late to work, right? Say you've been going to work mad late, half hour late, 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late, and you give your reason as to why you're late. Maybe your car broke down. Maybe you got injured and you can't walk as well as you were able to walk before, and you're trying to adjust to the pain, you're trying to adjust to the cast, you're trying to adjust to the crutches, whatever the case is. So that in the beginning is a valid reason. But once that reason is played off or played out, that's when the subconscious mind starts to extract the power of that reasoning and turn it into excuses. The subconscious mind will see how validating and how powerful a valid reason can be. Oh, now I got crutches, or now I got a cast on my foot, or whatever the case is, people are opening the door for me more. People are being a little nicer to me now. People are showing extra consideration for me now. There are these emotional, mental, and spiritual perks that spike this serotonin or dopamine, and you become more excited. You gain on a subconscious level, not consciously, because consciously you may look at yourself like, oh well, I don't want to be looked at like I'm crippled. I can still do this. Your conscious might be the complete opposite of what your subconscious is actually taking in. Your subconscious is saying, wow, people are being extra nice to me in this cold world. People are really being considerate right now because of my particular injury or whatever. So the subconscious holds on to that and it feels good. But then the subconscious kind of gets addicted to it. And so once the reasoning is over, once it's played out, once your foot is completely healed, you should be able to get to work on time now. You see what I'm saying? Or once your car is fixed, you should be able to get to work on time. Or whatever, however you want to portray that. So what happens is, and what I'm learning, I'm telling you this from personal experience, is that at one point, the reasons that I had, I thought they were so powerful. As I continued to connect my conscious and subconscious, I realized that they were so powerful, and I got so comfortable with crippling. I got so comfortable with being crippled that it was hard to find my way out of it. And so whatever was left of the meat and potatoes of reasoning, I would use the scraps and give and continue to extend this reasoning when it became nothing more than an excuse. Because when you have a valid reason, people will excuse you and they might do it automatically. But when the reasoning is over, that's when you try to find ways to excuse yourself. So whereas people will open up the door for you when you have a reason, you start to take a step back and not even open the door, not even approach the door for it to be opened when you have an excuse. Oh, I just can't come. Nah, yeah, I'm in pain. Oh, it's raining today, so my ankle hurts. It's still healing, yada yada yada. Okay. but you literally work at a massage therapist's office, you can come in a little early and get you know what I'm saying, like, and get that worked out. And so I allowed excuses to red carpet my exit, and sometimes, bro, I would just never show. I would just never show. I just wouldn't show up because there was still a level of fear in the background that I wasn't aware of, that had me hold on to this reason so much. When you bake like you bake a turkey or something, or you got like a rotisserie chicken or something, and you can use a lot of that meat for a whole meal. I hate that word too. It sounds so fucking creamy. But then you can use the rest of the meat. You can feed it. You can feed it to the cats, or you can take all the rest of it and make a really good broth, and then you keep the broth, and then so that you can make a really good gravy out of it. You know what I'm saying? Then you keep the gravy and see what you can spread it on. Like, that's what I did with reasons. And I realized, like, I just kept extending. It's like calling a bill company and asking for an extension. And I kept asking for an extension. I kept asking for an extension. That's what I kept doing with reasons. But when they were outplayed, that's when they became excuses. And so, with all that being said, anytime you find yourself cracking an excuse, like my teeth look crazy yellow in here, like my teeth ain't yellow. The lighting in there, so there you go. The lighting in there is so weird. But if ever you find yourself getting caught up in excuses, unravel the excuse and see what was the reason that gave you that excuse to begin with. I would invite you guys to do that. To be honest, I think I'm gonna make this a separate video, because I have channel messages, but I don't want to make it too long. So I'm gonna make this is gonna be a separate video. This is just gonna be like words of wisdom, because I have plenty of it, and I love sharing it. So I will be back with a channel message. Peace.